Hey, Right Thing. Good to see you.
Hi, Leonard.
How you been?
Good.
Haven't seen you in a while. We should catch up.
Oh yeah, I'm actually headed to my office. You gonna join me for some tea?
Oh, sure. That would be great.
All right, let's go.
Cool.
Leonard, thanks for coming to my office. How have you been?
Oh, thanks for having me. I've been good. Just been hanging out with House, and discussing the philosophy of music education as usual. And yourself?
Oh, that's great. I've been fine. I'm working on my new article about Dewey's philosophy of art experience. I'm trying to use the idea of a fugue as the metaphor to summarize Dewey's ideas into 3 main subjects.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know what? I also came up with many ideas after reading Dewey's philosophy. And I always ask myself, why do I need to think about the philosophy of music education? Well, it's because it continues to enlighten and inspire our work, and it provides us direction and guides us, to the efforts of a music teacher, and helps the music teacher clarify and explain the importance of music, to our colleagues and to our, layman people.
Oh, really? Well, I completely agree. I still remember during the Depression years and how difficult it was for music educators, especially when the school was only focusing on math and science. But art is not an essential part of our basic education, but it's the foundation of philosophy that supports us.
Exactly. Every music teacher must base his professional life on a firm philosophical foundation. Talk about philosophy. It reminds me when Dewey told us what is art. The relationship between the aesthetic experience and ordinary experience is very close.
Huh.
Drama, music, painting, sculpture, and none of these were remote from life. Aesthetic experience is closely connected with the qualities of ordinary experience, and the ordinary experience can grow naturally and normally into an aesthetic experience.
Huh. Well, I agree with part of that, but not all. Well, I prefer to say that Dewey is telling us when is art rather than what is art. Aesthetic experience is refined and intensified from the ordinary experience. And it's not relegated just to museums and sculptures and the concert hall. Dewey distinguishes physical art from the work of art. An art object must be experienced, not simply sit on a shelf to collect dust.
Fair enough.
Hey, do you know this song? This is Bobby Darin's new song, Dream Lover.
No, this was my first time. You were very current.
Oh, of course, because one day in school, one of these boys was singing this to a girl that he really, really likes.
That's interesting. Well, what do you think about this song?
Well, I think it's a good song. When I heard the boy sing it for the first time, I felt like he was really feeling the emotions and singing it and dreaming that this girl would come into his arms. He sang it so beautifully that I was really moved. And I had no idea he was such a sweet boy. I just thought he was an athlete. But he was really able to sing such great music. And I think the composer or the singer has got to have such a great imagination of what he wanted to sing to a girl. And that's why he wrote the song.
Well, let me ask you. Do you think it is good music or great music?
Oh, that is a great question. Wow, I think it's great music if it relates to the student's life and they want to learn about it spontaneously and on their own.
So would you say that, this music compares to Beethoven's symphony? Which one do you like better?
It does not compare. Of course the Beethoven symphony is so much better.
Well, I think that's the difference between good music and great music. I mean, there are obviously 2 distinct differences. One is the subtlety of expression, and 2 is the abstractness of expression. I feel like popular music, like The Dream Lover, lacks subtlety. The harmony is trite, straightforward, and easily anticipated. Take this song, The Dream Lover again as an example. Sure, it's a good song. It's very catchy. It's very lyrical. It sounds very nice. It's beautiful. But how long will it last? Will it last 100 years? I don't think so. But how many years can Beethoven's symphony last? It's lasted already a couple hundred years. I think great music has a certain complexity to it. It has a form of the subtle relationships among the different parts. Great music manages to express in symbols the feeling of life, which cannot be expressed through language or any other form of human expression.
Well, you're only speaking from the composer's point of view. What about the performer? How can a performer make great music if there's no emotional background to the piece? If the performer plays fully with great imagination and artistic inspiration, does that make good music or great music? Or, in my opinion, if someone plays a Beethoven sonata but has no inspiration, does that make it a good performance? Or is that just computing notes on a page?
Interesting point. And I feel like that's why we need to teach students, how to be able to respond to music, how to understand the inspiration, and that way they can judge what is good music and what is the difference between that and great music. That's our responsibility as teachers, to popularize great music. If we just let students listen to pop music, easy music, they'll never understand great music. But I guess if your teaching purpose is just to entertain students, you can just do that if you want. But if your goal is to develop the aesthetic potential and musical understanding, then instead of just radio music, you'll never can achieve great purposes in music education.
All right. Well, what do you think about Afro-American music?
I think it's a youth movement of music in school. I think Afro-American music represents a departure from music in the European tradition sense. And in African-American music, the beat is the message. It's a lot different. I think it's significant that with Afro-American music, blacks are entering and creating a mainstream of American culture, like a music of their own. You bring this music into a school music program, and I think it could make a significant contribution to really unifying our society.
Wait. So, you think we should bring this type of pop music into our school system?
Yeah, I really think so. I think it really can provide an avenue for aesthetic experience for many young people.
But that is not great music. Didn't you just say we should teach great music like the Beethoven symphonies? Afro-American music is still just pop. You mean you want to teach this in the school for the next generation?
That's so much for today's gossip. If you want to know how Leonard answered and what's going on next, don't miss tomorrow's the same show, the same time. Bye!
I don't know what you're trying to say here.
Uh-oh, that's so much
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's so much gossip for today. If you want to know how did Leonard answer.
Come on, all you have to do is stay still. You don't have to talk.
Okay, not you.
I'm not doing anything.
You're doing this so meaningful for our next generation. Tell me.
White power.